The German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, 1844–1900, is considered one of the foremost figures in postmodern philosophy, with his philosophy being unique in many ways. Nietzsche sought to critique everything that was dominant in his time and before. His critical hammer left nothing untouched, deconstructing and destroying everything, including religion, morality, and more. His philosophy cannot be separated from his personal life, as it reflects his own experiences. Nietzsche supported the idea of eternal recurrence, which calls for independence from the dominant moral concepts of his era, viewing them as a form of mental, moral, and ethical subjugation of people. He also sought new ways to counter the pain of existence, seen as a tool for joy, finding pleasure in uncertainty and the temporary, rather than in extreme fatalism that denies necessity, will, and knowledge in itself. Nietzsche was influenced by the philosophy and thought of the German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer, the pioneer of pessimistic philosophy, which shaped his ideas extensively. In addition to Schopenhauer, Nietzsche was deeply influenced by Wagner's musical piece Tristan und Isolde, a work he admired throughout his life. Nietzsche also had a profound passion for ancient Greek literary heritage, particularly the works of Homer and the great tragedians of the 5th century BC. He was particularly fond of the pre-Socratic Greek philosophers. These influences were the driving forces behind his famous work, The Birth of Tragedy. Nietzsche employed the interpretation of Greek mythology symbols in his attempt to make the concept of art more accessible to the public, readers. In other words, symbolism permeates his philosophy in all its details. In both of his works, The Birth of Tragedy and The Twilight of the Idols, he referred to Greek and Christian roots. However, Nietzsche did not consider himself a fundamentalist philosopher, as he saw a return to the roots as barbaric. He is regarded by many as a philosopher of forgetfulness rather than a philosopher of memory. Therefore, his use of Greek heritage is not a literal return but an imitation of the artistic and cultural practices that modern Western man had lost. It is a restoration of the symbolic Greece, not historical Greece. For Nietzsche, the great driving force of life is art, which largely manifests through music, symbolizing the will to power, the myth of Dionysus, and the inner feeling and complete artistic creativity. The spirit of tragedy, as expressed by Nietzsche in The Birth of Tragedy, is embodied by the god Dionysus, the god of ecstasy and excess, representing instinct, the forces of nature, and their release from rational understanding. This is what nourishes and enriches art. Dionysus is the true expression of the return to humanity's natural animal origins, allowing humans to live in cosmic harmony and liberating their will, in contrast to the Apollonian god, who symbolizes dreams, wisdom, and the res tri.